Call a regular city council meeting Monday, December 15th, 2014 order. Clerk call roll, please.
Alderman Potoff.
Here.
Ferrari. Here. Waldorf. Lukosius.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Mueller.
Here.
Sapienza. Mayor Harrell.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Any presentations scheduled?
No, Your Honor.
Any public comment cards for any agenda items?
No, Your Honor.
We have a motion to receive the minutes and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Potoff, second by Alderman Ferrari to receive the minutes and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Move to committee, Finance and Safety Services, Chairman Alderman Potoff.
Disbursements, Alderman Radke, review those.
Yeah, total disbursements for December 17th, 2014 are $2,345,529.76. I move that we receive that, place it on file, and pay the bills in the usual manner.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Radke, second by Alderman Perez to receive the disbursements, place on file, and pay the bills in the usual manner. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Call the roll.
Alderman Potoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Approved Fire Department, Alderman Perez.
Yes, I have the approved fire department report for pay period ending December 6th, 2014. The approved fire department responded to a total of 11 fire calls for this pay period. Total payroll for this pay period was $3,096.88. I'd like to make a motion to receive this report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Perez, second by Alderman Ferrari to receive approved fire department report and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Tonight, Your Honor, we have a motion to extend the co-insurance reimbursement to the non-Medicare eligible employees for the 2015 Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois renewal.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Potoff, second by Alderman Radke for extending co-insurance reimbursements to non-medical eligible employees for the 2015 Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to add for essentially very little cost. I think the maximum would be about $32,000 a year. The retired employees will receive the same benefits as the current employees will as far as health insurance reimbursement. Again, we discussed this over the course of the last year and felt if we are going to apply that, we would do it for the 2015 year. So that's where it's coming from.
Is there any other discussion? A roll call vote, quick call roll.
Alderman Potoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the police department to purchase one new administrative detective vehicle and trade in two administrative detective vehicles with purchase from Schimmer Ford under governmental bid program using drug enforcement funds. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Perez to authorize the police department to purchase a new vehicle with the trade-in of two other vehicles. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Potoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Also, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion that we make a $1,000 donation to Ivy Rotter Car Club with proceeds that benefit the Prue Citizen Service Organization.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Perez to authorize $1,000 donation to Ivy Rotters Club. Is there any discussion?
That's something that we've been doing for the last few years with the Rotters Car Club, and they've been working together with the CSO. And I know last year's event, they really put some really good things together. It was a great event day for the community. The park was pretty well jammed up that day with people. We had kids from children to full families out there. So they're going to do that again this coming year.
Is there any other discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Potoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Your Honor, just a short update on economic development. Some time ago, the city approved $25,000 for the grant program for the Route 6 development. As of right now, there's been 6 businesses that have been reimbursed for facade improvements, and there's still money out there to be had. So we've seen a pretty successful response so far. It's helped those businesses and certainly will help our city.
Okay, back to the Rodgers, that donation was approved 7-0, so motion approved.
Your Honor, one other housekeeping. On December 26th, there is a finance meeting scheduled. That meeting will be canceled. We do encourage all of the aldermen to look over the disbursements at the time. Other than that, there will be no actual business conducted. So there is no meeting for the Finance and Accounts meeting on the 26th. Thank you.
Okay, Public Services, Chairman Alderman Waldorf is not here, so who's going to take the reign?
You want to take the reins?
Why don't you start?
Alderman Mueller.
Your Honor, we have the Peru Public Library cash account summary for the period ending November 30th, 2014. Total funds available are $514,432.42. I'd like to make a motion that we receive this report and place it on file.
Second that.
Motion Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Sapienza, receive Public Library cash count summary and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Also, Your Honor, we have the Peru Recreation Fund cash account summary for the period ending November 30th, 2014. Total funds available are $45,757.70. I would like to recommend a correction on this report for the total funds available for the last 3 years. That should read November and not September. I had a discussion with the clerk. So with that correction, I'd like to make a motion that we receive that report and place it on file.
I'll second that.
A motion by Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Sapienza, to receive recreation cash account and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the engineering agreement between, with Chamlin and Associates for the flood wall protection for the East Wastewater Treatment Plant in the amount of $25,100. This is for the wall itself. Eric, you?
This agreement is to enlist the services of structural engineer to look into design the wastewater plant flood wall protection of that plant.
Not to be confused with the flood prevention of last meeting.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Sapienza, second by Alderman Lukosius, to approve the engineering agreement with Chamlin Associates for flood wall protection for East Wastewater Treatment Plant, $25,100. Is there any discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Your Honor, the next item on the agenda,
That was, excuse me, that was approved. Now we'll move on. No, the one that we just did. I didn't have a chance to say approved.
then I'd like to move down to make a motion to renew the 2015 lawn mowing program with D&M Landscaping, and this would be a 3-year contract with 0% increase.
Second that.
Have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Sapienza, to renew the 2015 lawn mowing program with D&M, 3 years, 0% increase. Is there any discussion?
I think it's been a phenomenal success for the city to privatize this service, and certainly gives us a good example of other things within our city. It's been a good company. I think we're all pleased with that. My only opposition is I don't see any problem with bidding it again. Other than that, you know, there are pluses and minuses. Other than that, it's been a terrific savings for the city of Peru. Doug Burnaby provided us with a report, and you're looking at savings of, you know, up to $40,000 in personnel alone. So that in itself says it was very successful.
Yeah, this is basically a $120,000 3-year contract. And I'm with Alderman Putoff. I really feel that they should go out for bids. It didn't state anywhere in the contract that we would extend, or actually in the bid specs that we would extend if agreed upon between the contractor and the city. So I think that the other contractors that bid last year were expecting to bid again this year. So that's where I stand.
Well, I'm looking at the contract here, and it says, the contract shall commence at the beginning of 2014 mowing season and shall terminate at the conclusion of 20 mowing season. The contract may be extended on an annual basis if mutually agreed to by both parties. So, I mean, when people are bidding on this, they should have read that and known that if they gave a good price, they would have the opportunity.
And they didn't have, that didn't state that in the bid. I believe that the only one that saw that clause was the contractor who won that contract. I don't believe that.
That's not correct, Alderman Perez. If you,
Are you looking at the bid specs?
yeah, that entire package went out to everyone. So everybody saw that. In fact, they had to fill that information.
Did they see the contract too?
Yes.
So they signed the contract, or are they?
Everybody who received that page had to fill out their individual steps
Okay.
as part of the submission.
As I read,
We're all aware of that.
as I read this, you know, it says that the contract, well, here's what it says here. This contract shall commence at the beginning of 2014 mowing season. It doesn't state when that is, when that mowing season starts, and shall terminate at the conclusion of the 2014 mowing season. And it doesn't state when that is. I believe we estimated that to be around October. So what I read on that is the contract may be extended on an annual basis if mutually agreed upon by both parties, which that can be interpreted to mean an additional month or so within that contract year. That's the impression that I had got, and last year when we had went out for bids, we said this was going to be more of a trial for this first year, and we would be able to put a better bid spec together for the following year, for 2015, to give the contractors a better idea on how they're going to bid the contracts. So the contractors were under the assumption that we were going to bid again this 2015.
I disagree with that. I think there's one out there, one contractor that wants to interpret it that way. But every contractor, you don't have to be an attorney to read paragraph 2 that says the contract may be extended on an annual basis. If that's not as crystal clear contract language, I've never seen it. In fact, all the contractors, that was pointed out, that potentially this could be a multi-year, so make sure you sharpen your pencil. So I think that's crystal clear, that it was an annual.
Yeah.
It's not even a close call, with all due respect. And again, I'm not an attorney, but annual means just that, annual.
Like I said, I just think it's a $120,000 contract, and I just think we should bid it again just to do due diligence to our taxpayers, that's all.
I think it was bid already.
I think it'd be in bad faith. The first contractor that came in, I know he did a whole lot of extra work that first year, getting things in order so that it would be a little easier for him the following year. It was a real mess when he first came in. He's corrected that mess, and now we're going to say to him, thanks a lot. Too bad for you, buddy, but we're going to bid it out now and give it to somebody else. That doesn't set well with me as far as good relations.
But we actually paid him an extra $7,000 too.
But his new contract is for that amount that we've got there.
What is the new contract for, 40,000, 39,000?
Well, the new contract would be for the exact figures that he submitted for those main parcels, 32,000 and change.
So what about the extras? There's not going to be any extras?
We can hire anybody for those extras. I think last year we hired TNT from Spring Valley to do some extra. I don't know if anybody was aware of that, but that's TNT from Spring Valley was given some work that wasn't out for bid. I believe we had Specialty do some work, some grass cutting work. Trying to think if we had anybody else doing that. So I don't care what you do. It's my recommendation that you don't bid for the risk of getting higher bids. I believe D&M would probably not bid the project. I believe other reputable contractors would say if that's how the city approves going to do business, no thanks. If that happens, the risk we have is we don't have 5 bidders, we have 2 bidders.
and the players say, I can cut a fat hog with the city of Peru. This, to go out for bid when you have a 0% increase, when everybody had the chance to bid, and the next closest contractor was willing to charge the taxpayers $22,000 more. So can you imagine if D&M didn't bid last year, and the next lowest bid, and we're here renewing with them, that's $88,000 over a 4-year contract. So I can't speak for D&M, but I don't believe they would rebid this. The prices are all out there. It's called shopping prices. And in the business world, from what I'm aware of, when no one's offering an increase, the people who had their pencil sharpened a year ago, which happened to be D&M, their prices are out there. If anyone who bid last year, if any of those bidders matched those prices, what that tells you is they were willing to make $20-some thousand at the expense of the city. That's what it tells you.
3 years from now, those prices are going to be out there anyway. They're going to be out there again in 3 years.
Correct. And if D&M's in there in 3 or 4 years saying, I'll do it for 0%, then you can have that conversation then. I don't know that they would 4 years into a contract. I have no idea. But that's why contract language in item number 2 is specifically put in there for every contractor to know this may be extended on an annual basis. That's why you put it in there, if it's mutually agreed upon. Why else would that be in there unless we would mutually agree? There's no other reason you would have that, and that's generic contract language. I'm just concerned you're going to have bids that are going to come in significantly higher if D&M's not awarded this bid, and that's the risk. Every one of you who votes to go out for bid, if that's what happens, and if the bids come in and it costs the city over 3-4 years $150,000, okay, $25,000 more a year. Let's say that's the bid. That's $100,000 in 4 years. Just be aware of that before you do that.
I have a question then. Yeah. Why don't we do the same thing with other contractors? Let's say like Test, for example. Why don't we word that so we don't have to go out for ever go out for bids again because other contractors are going to see their bids? Why don't we put clauses in there like that for everyone then? I mean, sure, to me that wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be correct.
Contracts do have that. It can be written. I would think.
Well, they have their 5-year contract, but they're up for bid every 5 years. Just like I think D&M should be, or our landscape. But anyway, that's besides the point. I know we're
right. I just want to make sure the council understands the risk of going out. There is a very real risk that you are going to spend more money than what we did last year. And if you're prepared to take that risk, by all means go out for bid. I also think that you're going to see contractors that aren't going to bid the city of Peru work. They're going to say they're shopping prices. So be aware of that as well. So you have a decision to make on a $32,000 a year lawn mowing project. You have a decision to make.
Well, I understand the risk, and I really looked at the contract, and I don't see a lot of profit in there, you know, if you look at man hours and the cost of gasoline. But I'm willing to bet that supply and demand of those grass cutting businesses that we will get some favorable bids. And I guess I'm not to the person that will say we will get a higher bid. I think it's willing to, or I'd be willing to take a look at those. And I guess we'll never know unless we do see those bids.
Was somebody dissatisfied with the work that he did last year?
Mike, personally, I think the work was very well done. Their blades were sharpened. They did a thorough job. I think certainly the superintendent helped a lot as far as telling them when to cut it and when not to cut it, and it was managed very well.
Absolutely.
I just think, again, you know, my standpoint is there are a lot of individuals out there. I don't know if they'll give us the same quality service as somebody else, but, you know, I'd be more than willing to give them a chance.
But as you said, they've sharpened their pencil, and there isn't a lot of profit left in it. So if there isn't a lot of profit left in it, and we're not dissatisfied with the work,
Okay, you want to go through it. There's still something else that comes into play with this, so, Attorney?
The vote would require a two-thirds vote of aldermen now holding office. So if there was a motion made, it would require 6 votes of the aldermen present.
Why is that?
If it was, because you need a supermajority. Yeah, incidentally, that's a state law, not any city provision, but that's what the state law provides. So unless you had 6 affirmative votes, the motion would not pass.
Okay, now, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Do you want to withdraw that and wait for a full council of 8, or do you want to go ahead and vote? It's up to you, Alderman Lukosius, Alderman Sapienza.
Yeah, I'd like to withdraw my motion.
Alderman Sapienza?
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, we'll withdraw the motion and we'll table it till the next meeting. Okay.
The only other thing we have under Public Services, Your Honor, is we would like to schedule a Public Service Committee meeting for 10 a.m. on Monday, December 22nd, next Monday. Once again, that's 10 a.m.
What about the motion to execute authorization for Heritage Corridor?
Yeah, I have that, Your Honor.
Okay.
This was discussed at the Finance and Accounts meeting. Tonight, we have a motion to execute authorization for the City of Pruitt to name Heritage Corridor Convention and Visitors Bureau as our certified bureau for the upcoming fiscal year of 2016, running through July 2015 till June of 2016. And it essentially is the organization that promotes the City of Pruitt, and when we do authorize them to be our certified bureau, they do receive grants and funding for that. So basically, that's what this is really about. So I did make that a motion.
Seconded, Your Honor.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Ferrari, to execute authorization for the City of Pruitt to name Heritage Corridor Convention. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
The October 2014 Water and Wastewater Report is in the packet, but it's not on the agenda. Can we approve this?
It's on my agenda.
It's not on mine.
It's on mine. It's on the agenda, fire away.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the water and wastewater replant for the month of October 2014.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman LaCosta, second by Alderman Mueller, to receive the wastewater treatment report and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Anything further, Public Services?
That's all we have, Your Honor.
Okay, report City Attorney, ordinances, resolutions.
Yes, there was a hearing before the Zoning Board of Appeals on petition of Pru Waltham Mutual Insurance Company. That's for the property at 1724 Peoria Street, where they presently have their office. Some of you may remember years ago that was the Kaler Brothers construction company office. They had the hearing. Actually, the proposal on that is to raise that entire structure and build a new office building on there, 30 feet by 50 feet. That will actually be set back further to the west, or a greater east yard, front yard setback than the present building has, and also from the north property line along 14th Street, I believe, it'll be set back 2 feet further to the south. It will be set back 5 feet closer to the west property line, but it'll still be 25 feet off the west property line. It was approved unanimously by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Construction is expected to begin as soon as the weather breaks, in the spring, be occupied in the fall. There are only 2 people that are there that work in the office, and the testimony said they only have 1 or 2 customers at a time in the office. But 5 times a year, the board does meet there, and there are 7 board members.
Okay, do we have a motion to receive the minutes placed on file?
Second, Your Honor.
A motion by Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Lukosius, to receive the minutes placed on file. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just to clarify something, Keeler Construction was the building to the south of this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tony. What was in that? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Kleinfelter, the business south of it?
Yeah, I think this was Kaler. Yeah.
This is the one on the corner. Right. Keeler's in between Kleinfelter and this one.
Okay, but that,
the address is right.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, okay.
clarifying.
Yeah, no, you're right. This is on the corner.
okay, if there's no more discussion, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
We have a variance, Beer Dane, north side yard setbacks reduced from 25 feet to 5 feet, as I'm saying. Right now, it's only 3 feet. And then the west side yard setback reduced from 30 feet to 25 feet pursuant to plans presented to both the board, and they were incidentally approved by the Design Review Committee.
I have a motion to approve the ordinance as written and read.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
A motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Mueller, to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez. Radke. Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
We have a resolution authorizing the sale of Public Works Department, Electric Department, vehicles and equipment. Be resolved, Administrative Service Manager and City Clerk are authorized and directed to sell the personal property in the as-is condition to the respective highest responsible bidders. ESM, City Clerk are authorized to execute any titles and documents of transfer necessary for the sale of the property and further authorized to reject any and all bids as either of them deem appropriate to waive any technicalities in the bids received. And then there's an attached list of property, mainly Moore's, 1999 Dodge Ram, 1985 Ford E500, and 1991 International, 1999 Chevy 2002 GMC van, and some other miscellaneous equipment.
I'll make a motion to authorize the sale of these vehicles.
I'll second that.
A motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Lukosius, to authorize the sale through resolution as written and read. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask the chief to clarify. I know why we're selling it, because there gets to a point where, these are unrepairable or cost efficient. Could you just give us a little background why we're selling them?
Well, sometime back, I think it was when just the committee was Alderman Waldorf and Alderman Lukosius. They asked Jeff and I to inventory all the vehicles that we had in the fleet to see if we needed all of them, basically, and we could reassign how the vehicles were used. So we finalized that, and we identified 6 vehicles that we can take out of the fleet without compromising anything whatsoever. So they're actually good vehicles. They've been well maintained over the years, but they're not needed any longer. So we don't need that many vehicles in the Public Works Department. One of those is an electric department vehicle, so it's 5 out of Public Works and 1 out of the electric department. And then miscellaneous mowers that I didn't think we were going to need. And then just other miscellaneous things that we just don't use any longer. And as long as we can get a few bucks for them, we thought we'd go out with this sealed process.
Thank you.
You might add too, Doug, they're not junk. Some of those mowers are in
Right.
fairly good condition
Yeah,
and fairly new.
No, I think we've already had a lot of people interest calling. We got a city mechanic, so they've been very well maintained. And they're basically just equipment, the surplus equipment that we can, we're not going to miss a beat with getting rid of all of this equipment. We'll have to go out and buy other things and that sort of thing. So they're in good shape, and we should, on some of these things, get, some decent bids. The last three, items we just added actually today, were our push mowers. We're not gonna get any big money for them at all, but we might as well get rid of them because we don't need them, so. Hopefully the vehicles and some of these, Kubotas bring some decent dollars.
So the city will be receiving sealed bids, on those items to be delivered to the city clerk's office no later than 9 a.m. on Monday, December 22nd.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next item is just to receive the interim minutes of the joint hearing before the Zoning Board of Appeals and Plan Commission on the petition of Illinois Railway and Northern White Sand. Most of you were present here at that hearing. At that time, it was moved to adjourn to a date certain to this coming Wednesday, December 17th at 6 o'clock. It is my understanding there will not be enough Plan Commission members and Zoning Board of Appeals members present at that time. So one of the members, Tom Atkinson, will be attending that hearing on Wednesday to continue it again to a date certain to the following night, Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. But the interim minutes are here, have been sent to all of you together with the report of the Design Review Committee and the letters submitted by William Johnson attached.
Okay, we have a motion to receive the minutes and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
A motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Lukosius to receive the minutes and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
The next is an ordinance levying taxes for the corporate purposes for the city of Peru for the fiscal year beginning on May 1st, 2014 and ending April 30th inclusive.
We have a motion to receive the ordinance levying taxes and place on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to point out a few facts that I think everybody will be curious to hear, and I appreciate our finance officer putting these together. The current tax bill for the city of Peru is 2.92%. Of that amount, 74% of that amount goes towards our pensions. So, for example, a homeowner of a $100,000 home will pay $54.66, an increase of about $6.25. Now, I think that's quite remarkable if you compare our neighboring cities. And I just take one of our cities, the city of LaSalle. If you had the same $100,000 home and their tax levy just for the city's portion would be $633.63. If you took the city of Oglesby, it would be $689.28, and the city of Peru would be $65.91. I understand every town has different problems and different certainly opportunities, but I think it's quite remarkable for the city of Peru over many, many years that we've been able to keep our tax rates as low as possible.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. You can call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari. Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
And then we have 4 real estate tax abatement ordinances. Now, these would be tax levies that were imposed by various bond issues over the years, and historically in all 37 years that I can remember, the city has always abated levies that were imposed by bond ordinances. The reason you pass a bond ordinance providing for a levy on the real estate taxes is to afford the lowest possible interest rate on the bonds. So if a bond is supported by a tax levy on the real estate, you're going to get the best interest rate on the bond because that's considered the safest, but the city annually abates those taxes that are levied by those bond ordinances. Consistent with that, the first one we have abates the levy imposed by the 2014 General Obligation Bond Series, abates the 2014 tax levy as imposed by that bond passed on February 15, 2010. The amount of that abatement is $253,000.
Do we have a motion to approve the
So
ordinance?
moved, Your Honor.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosich.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next is the ordinance abating the 2014 tax levy as provided by a bond ordinance passed on October 26, 2009. The amount of that abatement is $369,287.50.
Do you have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call. Call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosich.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next, you have a tax abatement ordinance abating the tax imposed by a bond issue dated September 7, 2011. The amount of that abatement is $453,950.
So moved.
Second.
Who moved? I have a motion by Alderman Radke, second by Alderman Putoff to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosich.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Excuse me, that last one was the September 7, 2011. The final tax abatement ordinance abates the tax levy imposed by the bond ordinance on March 16, 2009. The amount of the abatement is $743,400. So the total abatements by all four tax abatement ordinances is $1,819,673.50.
And again, Doug, those obligations are paid for by revenues generated from the general fund, water and sewer treatment, or the electrical fund. To put that in perspective, if these taxes were not abated, the $100,000 homeowner would have an additional $228 on their tax bill. If you're a person of numbers, maybe that interests you.
Essentially, we're abating almost twice as many taxes as we're actually levying.
Close to 3, aren't you?
3 times. We're abating $2 million and we levy $1 million, so.
Okay.
If you count the library, you're right. It's 3 times if you just count the city.
Right. Okay. I don't have a motion yet.
Second, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Perez to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosich.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
The next is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement regarding the emergency and related services involving the cities of LaSalle, Peru, and Oglesby. and this is regarding the discussions for the central dispatch location.
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Perez, to approve the ordinance as written in red. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosas.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapiens.
Motion approved. Okay, the next one is pretty much the second part of that ordinance for the intergovernmental agreement in the talks between LaSalle, Peru, and Oglesby. It was agreed upon between the three cities for the board to consist of the chief of police, the fire chief, the chairman of ETSB, and then the mayors of every town. So I can split this up and do it Chief Burnaby, then Chief King, then Joe Hogan, then Mayor Harrell, or we can do it as an omnibus vote and just vote on all at once. It's what all the other cities are doing, but what does anybody want to do there?
No, I move we appoint.
Let's do it all together.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Chief Burnaby, Chief King, ETSB Chairman Joe Hogan to serve on the Illinois Valley Regional Consolidated Dispatch Center Planning Board with Mayor Harrell as City of Peru representatives. Do we have that motion?
Yes, you do.
Second? Alderman Sapienza, was that? Yep. Second by Alderman Sapienza. Is there any discussion?
Well, I don't know about the three of you, but I know that Joe Hogan will do a fantastic job on that committee. He's been on the ETSP board for a long, long time, I think, so.
And, we're gonna try and get the ETSB to fund some of the planning process, so he's a good guy to have on the board.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff. Aye. Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosas.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved.
Next, we have a resolution allowing construction of a commercial entrance onto US Route 6 under the jurisdiction and control of the Department of Transportation in the state of Illinois.
Location?
What's the location?
It's for future and possible development on the west end of town, west of the new Casey's store, and we need to start the ball rolling with Department of Transportation for a possible curb break in that area and make sure that everything's okay with that.
It's not gonna cost us anything.
No.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
A motion by Alderman Lukosha, second by Alderman Putoff to approve the resolution as written in red. Is there any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote. Quick call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosas.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Resolution approved. Okay, unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? New business. Do we have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign extension agreement for Illinois Railway under letter of intent?
The letter of intent went to December 19th with Illinois Railway on the purchase of Peru Rail. I would actually suggest you extend that. So I don't know when it's all going to come back to the council now as far as annexation and zoning. I would, well, no, because it expires
Yeah,
before your next meeting.
There's a letter on file as we speak,
Well,
but
I
it's
mean,
been to-
60 days. Why don't we do 60 days?
Yeah, so moved, for 60 days.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Radke, second by Alderman Lukosius To authorize the mayor to sign extension agreement for Illinois Railway LLC under the letter of intent for another 60 days. Okay, that was Alderman Radke and Alderman Lukosius. Okay, well, is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved. Okay, motion to authorize mayor to execute agreement with American Tower regarding Sprint at the Washington Park cell tower. Do you have the information on that?
Yes, they want to put another AT&T Mobility, another co-location on the site. We've changed their form such that they at least have to notify the police department before they come, so we know who's on the site. But they do want another locate, and they want the ability to go onto the site for making any needed repairs from time to time
How do you
and modifications.
audit that, Doug, as far as the city's revenue portion?
Well, we've looked pretty closely at that, correct, Dave? And we think that they're up to date.
Actually,
And this will give you more revenue, actually.
Attorney Schweigert, Scott Schweigert, did a complete review and matched everything up, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, but...
Weren't they gonna be adding some, stuff though?
Yes,
The big
yes.
print is gonna be larger, correct?
Yeah, it'll be larger, so you'll get more co-locate revenue.
Well, there'll be another building which will be inside the fenced-in area, which is already there. There'll be antennas on top of the
So that
tower
footprint
that is already
is
there.
changing, the fenced-in area,
No.
okay.
How much more will it mean to the city?
I think the AT&T is about $650 a month.
And then we'll have better AT&T coverage downtown. Plus, we're talking with and working with AT&T on some other issues also. So they're being been very good to talk with here lately, so.
So they haven't agreed to this, but we changed their language to notify the city police department to get at least 1 hour prior to entry upon the property, and to complete all work between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. and obtain consent and plan approval by the city. Okay.
And then will the police department notify the building department too, Chief Burnaby? All right. Okay, I need a motion and a second on that.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Mueller, second by Alderman Lukosius. Authorizing the mayor to execute agreement with American Tower regarding the Sprint at Washington Park cell tower. Is there any further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez. Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved. Okay, we have a motion to retain Attorney Herb Klein to represent the city regarding the OSF lease at the Illinois Valley Regional Airport.
So moved, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Sapienza to retain Attorney Herb Klein. Did you want to say anything about this, Alderman Lukosius?
Yes, OSF is, finally ready to, begin construction. They'd like to get this, lease agreement taken care of, and, they'd like to break ground in the spring. So it would be another addition to the Illinois Valley Regional Airport, another structure just north of the one going up right now. So things are looking up out there. They're, really starting to move. Get it?
Well, they're even talking, once they go over 800 flights a year of having 2 helicopters there. This is their busiest facility in the state of Illinois for air flight, which is pretty good. And
That's good and bad. I know.
well, it's good if you're not a rider. But it's good if you are, if that does happen, because they're here, they're available in minutes, so.
Maybe that's because of all the fried chicken and pasta we eat.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Cloud.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Jokosas.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Motion approved. Is there any further new business? Proclamations,
No, Your Honor.
petitions, communications?
Yes, Your Honor. A communication from Karen Hansen requesting a variance for property located at 1616 7th Street.
Do we have a motion to receive the communication, place on file, and turn it over to the zoning board of appeals for review and recommendation?
So moved, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller, to receive the communication, place on file. Is there any discussion?
Is this, you got 616, is it 1616 or 616?
Are there different agendas printed for everybody, or what?
Was that a question?
Just for you, Jim.
Okay, this is to receive and place on file and turn over to zoning for review recommendation at 616 7th Street,
I'll
First
make
Ward.
that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do we have anything further for any communications or anything?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we have any public comment? Public comment?
I will say congratulations to Justin Miller for getting engaged in this last year.
Oh. Okay, public comment, Luann, could you come up to the, sorry about that.
Yeah, he said, I think I'm telling you, you're sending you two Yahoos a picture. He goes, I'll never get another one.
I'm live. I just want to say thank you. I'm sure you remember me being here last year asking for the assistance and the insurance. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today's been good news all around. My heart has improved. I've lost 101 pounds in a year and a half. And it's just been a good day. So thank you for the present retirees and for the future retirees. I can't say thank you enough.
Well, thanks for all you've done for the city of Peru, Luann.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Congratulate the new ramp on
Ma'am, I don't, well, could you state your name, please?
I'm Angie Dallin from Peru Waltham Mutual Insurance. I just want to thank the council and Design Review Committee and Zoning Committee. We're very excited about our new building, and we look forward to improving our current location. Thank you.
Maybe you can answer the question. What was there before you?
Yeah, it was. I had not experienced there, but it was a home at one time, and then.
Well, there was an apartment on it, I remember that.
And we've rented it for several years. But.
That's
1947, I believe they sold records.
Thank you very much, and the new building is a welcome addition.
The new building.
We got another, figure out what a sword went, and then find out what happened with the building.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Okay, seeing absence of any hands, closed session, I don't know that we need to go back. So do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Have a motion by Alderman Miller, second by Alderman Sapienza. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.